Warning advisory. The following audio diaries were presented to GoatMan Hollow Productions via an unknown source. GMH Productions cannot validate the authenticity of these recordings or the information provided within. GMH Productions cannot be held responsible for all or any information contained in these recordings or any circumstances that may occur as a result of listening to them in full or in part. You are advised to listen at your own risk.
April 11th, Day 5 of the Glendale investigation, 7:23 p.m. After much needed rest, maybe too much, it seems I have slept most of the day. I went out to get a bite to eat and have now returned to the unit. I now have a clearer mind, and I can refocus my thoughts on the information that Glendale's secret stash of files are revealing to me. Just to recap, I have learned that William Lotsford's father, Dr. Nathan Lotsford, conducted some highly controversial experiments of artificial insemination on his wife, his sister-in-law, and Mr. Fletcher's wife. I've also learned that he used his own DNA to conduct the experiments, which produced the offspring to be his. Dr. Lotsford is the father of William Lotsford, Jennifer Zugg, and Stephen Fletcher. I also learned that Dr. Lotsford, in an attempt to keep the secret from being exposed to his families and the rest of the world, murdered Mr. and Mrs. Fletcher, Stephen's parents. This may prove to be one of the reasons why Dr. Fletcher's existence has been kept a secret for so many years. But I think this is only scratching the surface of what I'm about to discover, which may blow the lid off this entire investigation into the Glendale. I should really get back to reading more of Lotsford's journals. So let's see, where was I? Oh yes. He just mentioned that he killed Stephen's parents and buried them on their property. He goes further in his writings to say, Stephen will be better off without them. They were never the parents he truly deserved. They would never encourage his full potential as a scientist, and he does possess my DNA, so he will make a great doctor, and now I can mold him into what he should be. William does not have that potential, and that has to be because of my wife's family's past mental illness. I love my son very much because he is my son, but I must face the facts. William is not what you would call a man of honor. I know about his lust for the body of a man. He is disappointing in so many ways. Stephen, on the other hand, is my pride and joy. He belongs with me at the ARC, and that is where he will be. I just need to keep him away from Jennifer. No good can come from them being together. Besides, as half-brother and sister, they are too closely related to bear children. I have to figure out a way to keep that from happening. I wonder if William might come in handy for that. Man, this Dr. Fletcher is a nut job. To disrupt all these people's lives with his petty cause, and then to dismiss his own birth son's right to his knowledge just because of his sexual orientation, all the while trying to mold Stephen to carry on his legacy as a scientist. Well, that is just pretty damn cold and ruthless. Here's another entry, just a few weeks later. Stephen seems to be doing pretty good considering the loss of his parents. I've taken him under my wing, and he is responding very well. He has thrown himself into the work we are doing, but he still continues to have feelings for Jennifer. William is doing just as I expected, clinging on to Stephen's every moment while he's around. He disgusts me sometimes with his unnatural attraction to Stephen, but Stephen is too involved to even notice. With the mourning over his parents' disappearance, the work we were doing at the labs, and his feelings for Jennifer, he does not have a clue. This may work to my benefit. I just have to figure out how. I wonder what Stephen would do if he found out about William's little secret. I will remain silent about it until I am positive telling Stephen will work in my favor. I can't do anything right now to jeopardize my plan. Plan? What plan is Dr. Lotsford working on? And why would he need to keep manipulating everyone around him to see it through? Guess I should just keep reading to find out. Stephen is more intelligent than I first thought. We were working together today to solve an issue with tissue rejuvenation, and everything I tried seemed to fail, but Stephen came through like a shining champ. He went over my notes and discovered a simple but significant mistake I made in the calculations of the DNA strain and solved it. He is definitely my son, no doubt. But I noticed something today about him that I've never noticed before. His temper is beginning to get out of hand somewhat, and he seems to have a bit of a problem controlling it. I gave him a bit of my mood-controlling medication in his coffee, and that seemed to have worked and made him more focused. So I've decided to keep him on it until I am sure he can control his own anger on his own. It must be a side effect caused by my experimental tempering with my DNA specimen I used on his mother during her procedure. Good thing it can be taken care of with medication. I've also begun persuading William to continue to work alongside Stephen to make sure William is there to help keep Stephen and Jennifer apart. The hours we all spend in the labs take Stephen away from seeing Jennifer, but she is way too understanding to let this come between them. We will see just how understanding she is about William and Stephen's friendship. Everything is going according to plan. There he goes again, talking about that plan. What the hell is he talking about? Whatever it is, it can't be good. I'm beginning to have a soft spot for them as this monster continues to manipulate their lives. And so I keep reading. We are very close to being able to complete an entire rejuvenation of dead human tissue. Stephen came up with a perfect solution to a problem we have been facing in keeping the tissue from dying after 3 days. He replaced one of the DNA strains with that of a goat. It never crossed my mind to use animal DNA to prolong the life of rejuvenated human tissue, but Stephen figured it out and it worked. The medication seems to be working very well on Stephen, so I've upped the dosage. More of a good thing can only keep him focused on his task at hand. William is getting suspicious of me and is beginning to question things. He may be too much of a risk at this point, but I will have to wait and see. Damn it. Power's out. I need to check this out. I hope it's not the agency. 36-47.